what is going on, guys? Xtimus here. So today I'm going to be showing you the Griswold set build on the Paladin. Now I know you guys have been waiting for me to do this build for a very long time now, but I'm actually going to be doing two different parts of this video for two different builds. So with this Griswold set Paladin, I'm going to be using Vengeance as my main skill. And on the next video, I'm going to show you guys another build where it's a PvP Fist of Heaven's Griswold set. So this is a PVM set here, and it's a Griswold set build that I'm going to be showing you guys. And it's really quite simple, and I'm just going to go over all the gear. Just as always, guys, I'm going to go over the gear, skills, attributes, and then show you guys some gameplay. We'll probably go ahead and start with 1 players and then move it up to 4 and 8 and see how well the damage does in those difficulties. So the first thing we'll go over is the most important part that you guys want to hear is the gear. So obviously I'm using the full Griswold set right here. And a lot of people wonder all the time what jewels or what runes do they want to put into the set. So for this build specifically, I put 4 shale runes into my Griswold weapon just because the attack rating is really slow on this thing, and I just really wanted to attack faster. So I put 4 shales in there. And then as far as my armor, helmet, and shield go, I mixed up all of the elements together since Vengeance is a elemental based melee damage. So with the shield, I put in 3 fire jewels, the armor I put in 3 cold, and then the helmet I put 2 lightning. So that's really going to help out there with the elemental damage that's going along with Vengeance. So it's going to be a Vengeance Conviction Paladin. Now here's the amulet Crescent Moon. So this is one of the big parts of this build. I really think that this is important. You could change this amulet based on your personal preference, but since Vengeance costs so much mana compared to other melee damage spells and stuff like that from the Paladin, like Zeal only costs 2 mana. Vengeance costs 11. So you're going to be going through a lot of mana, and before you know it, you're just going to be chugging mana pots, right? So I would make sure that you guys get a Crescent Moon. That's just my opinion. You could go with something else like a High Lords or maybe an Angelic set, but I really think it's important to have that 15% mana stolen per hit, so then you don't have to waste your time chugging mana pots. Alright, so next item, I'm using the Immortal King boots. Now, the Immortal King boots are one of my favorite boots to wear in the game. A lot of you guys know that on a lot of my melee builds. I really like Immortal King boots basically just because of the 40% faster run walk speed. On this build, I'm not teleporting around, so that increased faster run walk speed is really helping me out a lot. And they're still really good boots. I mean, 44 life, some attack rating, and they're just one of my favorite melee boots in the game. Obviously, if you were a different type of melee character, such as a barbarian or a smiter, you'd be better off going with something like Gore Riders or Goblin Toes to focus more on crushing blow, but this build doesn't focus on that type of melee damage. Then I'm using Thunder God's War Belt, Dwarf Star Ring, Raven Frost Ring. So then as far as my gloves go, I'm using Drax. This is pretty obvious for the life tap there. That's really going to help out with your survivability on this character. And as far as my inventory goes, I'm just using the Annie and the Torch. I didn't want to go crazy with the skill Grand Charms, and you know, I really been trying, like I said, I've been trying to keep my builds a little bit on the cheaper side rather than going all out and getting every single perfect piece of gear. So I mean, even the Annie and the Torch is already enough. So, and then on Switch, I got the Call to Arms and Lidless Wall. You actually don't have to have that, in my opinion. If you can see right here on the left, I have 1800 health. So, I mean, you'd be pretty much good to go without a Call to Arms. We're probably going to do this without a Call to Arms, just so I can show you guys. As far as the Mercenary goes, this is one of my favorite mercenaries in the game, and a lot of people don't do something like this, but I personally think it's really cool. So with this Mercenary, since I'm going to be using Conviction, I put a Rift on him. So he's going to be throwing level 21 frozen orbs everywhere. So it's going to be doing some nice damage. And I got a Nightwing's Helm. That's going to help out with the frozen orb damage. And I'm using Treachery. Treachery is obviously awesome for the chance to cast a level 15 Fade on there, and the attack speed, it's basically just as good as Fortitude in my opinion. So, and then to go over the skills with you guys real quick, so the combat skills, I put 20 points in the Vengeance, 1 point in the Holy Shield, Then you want to put enough points in the conviction to get 150 negative resistances. Mine's at 140 right now because I took some of my gear off, but you want to make sure you hit that 140 break point, and then the rest of the points you don't really need to put any more points in the conviction after that. And as far as my defensive auras, I put 20 in to resist fire, cold, and lightning, and those are synergy skills for vengeance to do more damage. And I put 1 point into salvation, and that's going to give a little boost of elemental damage also. I didn't go over the attributes yet, so basically you just got to put enough points in the strength to use your gear, pretty basic, and enough points in the dexterity to get max block with Holy Shield casted. Mine isn't max right now. Maybe there's an item I took off or switched around, but 67% is good for now. Then I put the rest of my points in the vitality and energy none. Alright, so basically how you play this character here, it's pretty simple. You just keep conviction up the whole time and you use vengeance. There are other skills that you could use and other things that you could do, but that is basically what you're going to be doing. And as far as a paladin, as far as it goes with a paladin that doesn't have teleport or enigma, it's a really good idea to use charge. You know, have that up just to run fast and get yourself moving quicker throughout the world. Alright, so let's get this started. We got the player set to 1. I'm just going to show you guys the damage it does on players 1. So we're doing up to 3,800 damage. So pretty easy so far. So as you can see, the damage is pretty solid there. We'll go ahead and up the difficulty a little bit. We'll set the players to 4. And this time I'm going to go to the World Stone Keep for players 4 difficulty and players 8 difficulty. And we'll just pass on using battle orders. See how well we could do without it. And also I'd like to show you guys how well the frozen orb damage does with conviction. So these guys are not immune to cold. So there goes some frozen orbs, buddy. There you go. Have to try and get a good pack going there. Yeah, here's a good pack of them. Taking them out. You also want to make sure with a lot of your builds, if your mercenary is kind of taking a lot of hits there, maybe try and make sure you got life tap going, man. See, there we go, got him going. So players 4 is pretty smooth, man. It's doing a lot more damage than I thought it would on this difficulty. This would probably be a really nice build on hardcore, to be honest with you guys. Some nice elemental damage. Oh, I murked my mercenary there. That ain't good. But you guys don't have to go with the rift on the mercenary. I mean, really, it's kind of just up to you what you want to do with the mercenary. It's not going to make or break the build. You could get a conviction. I don't have a life tap. Use that life tap, boy. So you could get a conviction, or I mean infinity. Well, actually you don't need to get an infinity. I'm totally thinking wrong because you already got conviction. But there are other things that you could go with that are really expensive on the mercenary. You could get like pride or the pride rune word, put that on your mercenary or something like that. But you know, like I said lately, I've just been trying to keep my builds really cheap and not add too much to the gear that isn't absolutely necessary, you know what I'm saying? So we'll set the players to 8 here and see where we're at on that. I mean, the Nightwing thing is just an option. It might be better to kind of run with maybe a Crown of Ages to get him some life tap in there. Here's an Andariel's. I mean, either way, those frozen orbs are going to be doing a decent amount of damage. But I didn't like that he died right there. I hate dying in Diablo 2. Drives me nuts. All right, so we got the player set to 8, and let's see how this goes. I want to show you guys a test of that frozen orb damage. So right there, it did a little bit of damage, but we are on player's 8, so I kind of want to give him. I don't want to give him that Nightwing back. But the thing is, you know, sometimes it gets really crazy. Sometimes he throws up like 5 frozen orbs in like seconds, like 3, 4, 5, 6. See, right there did you know, took half that Demon Imp's health on 8 players. So like I said, I really like Rift, man. I think it's badass. But you know, like I was saying, dude, I really like Rift. I think it's awesome. So as you guys can see, I mean, nice damage, nice survivability going here. I mean, you're not going to be clearing monsters, and you know, you're not going to be doing a chaos run in 2 minutes or anything, guys. But this is just one of those builds where, you know, it's a melee character. Melee characters are kind of restricted on doing a lot of AoE damage, and to see a character like this just kind of, you know, make his way through an 8-player game and do nice damage and have nice survivability. You know, you didn't have to buy Enigma or anything like that. I mean, all these items are pretty easy to come by. Probably the most expensive thing that I have is the Annie and the Torch, and I mean, you would probably you would do just fine with the gear that you have here. Getting the Griswold set and all the jewels isn't you know, isn't too hard, especially if you get ones that aren't perfect. But me personally, I mean, as a player, I really just don't see the whole point of just rushing through the game and doing everything super fast. You know, I think that it's just all the really overpowered builds that do that type of stuff. You know, like sorceresses, lightning sorceresses with infinity and hammered ins and stuff like that. Me personally, I don't think that the game was meant to be played that way. It's just that's the way those builds came out. And you know, I think melee characters are something that are very unappreciated, and you know, that's just the way I feel about it. And I enjoy just kind of walking through the game, and just, it just feels natural. You know what I'm saying? To just walk around and instead of teleporting all the time, and everything being so easy with the hammered in. I mean, you can kill Diablo in hell with a hammered in with no gear on, 0 gear. I did a video on that, so we'll do a little bit more 8 players here. We'll go to World Stone. I mean, we could even take off. We'll take off the Annie and the Torch, so then I can show you guys how well the damage is with you know, less expensive stuff on. Just so you guys know, I'm on Pluggy. That's why I'm able to respec and do all that stuff. So the most expensive thing, really, I'm not using the Call to Arms. The most expensive thing on this build is getting the Griswold weapon and the Griswold shield. And these items are really not that popular in the Diablo 2 community, so you should be able to trade for them pretty easily. Nightwing, that is a little bit expensive. Andariel's is not that expensive, so I'm just gonna take the gear, step the gear down a little bit, kill a little bit more. and then we'll be on our way with this build. Let's speed up a little bit because we killed some of these guys. Alright, so let's see how we do without all the overpowered or overpriced items like the Annie and the torch. Still doing pretty good, man. Good damage, good survivability. It's good to go, man. It's an awesome build. See, guys like this, he's immune to fire and cold. But one thing to mention, I mean, there are other ways that you could go about this build. There are people that put like ohm runes and stuff like that into the Griswold weapon just to get some more enhanced damage going there, and they'll mix the armor and the shield up with the burr runes, because I mean, having the jewels in there isn't absolutely necessary. So I mean, there are other ways you could go about the build. I mean, that's just Diablo 2 for you, man. I mean, especially with a weird set like this where there's so many sockets. I mean, there's probably a dozen different builds you could try and come up with. You know, that's just Diablo, man. It's so complex. So that's about it for this video, guys. Let me know in the comment section below how you guys feel about this build. Part 2 will be coming up soon, where I do the Fist of Heaven's Griswold set, and that is one of the most popular PvP classes in Diablo 2. So that's probably going to be one of my first PvP videos. I don't really cover a lot of PvP builds. I usually stick to PvM because that is where I know more about PvP than I do, or PvM than I do PvP. So thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you guys subscribe if you want to keep up with Diablo 2 content. Make sure you guys check the links in the description below. I'm going to be selling t-shirts for you guys very soon, so make sure you guys look out for that. All my Twitch links and Patreon, Discord, all that good stuff is in the description below. So love you guys so much, and I will see you on my next video.